Welcome in. It's Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we have a complete breakdown of the 53-man roster for your Seattle Seahawks, what we are projecting that it will look like when the season begins. After training camp and everything, who is going to be left standing when the Seahawks begin the season? We'll tell you who we think that is coming up in a matter of moments. Before we do, what will the Seahawks record be in 2023? A lot of optimism, a lot of excitement for this season ahead. What's their final record going to be when the season ends? Let us know in the comments section. Tell me what your official prediction is, whether it's wins, losses, ties out there. What do you think? Give me your official prediction. We'll get started with today's show. So what we have done is that we are going through every single position, including long snapper. And I'm going to tell you who I think the 53 players are on the Seahawks roster when the season begins and go through them piece by piece. So without further ado, let's start with the obvious, the quarterback position. I think Geno Smith and Drew Lock are going to be your two quarterbacks on this roster. You might carry, we've talked about Holton a lot from East Carolina. He might be a practice squad quarterback. I'd be surprised if Seattle goes with more than two quarterbacks on the active roster, but I think this is what it will be. Barring something drastic, you'll see it be Geno and Drew holding the spots that they held last year. The backfield, I think you're going to see Kenneth Walker, DeeJay Dallas, Zach Charbonnet, Kenny McIntosh as your four running backs holding things down. I wonder about DeeJay Dallas, or at the very least, what his playing time is going to be with the emergence of Charbonnet and as well as Kenny McIntosh. And Kenny McIntosh will play a similar role to what we've seen from DeeJay Dallas in the past of being a third down back and being a receiving back. Nick Bellore, of course, holding things down at the fullback position. Then we go to the tight end spot. I think that you go with three tight ends, especially with as much as the Seahawks want to use 12 personnel. You got to have another body around, and that's where Colby Parkinson stays in the mix, as well as Noah Fant and Will Dissly. Those three, last year they were a good trio. None of them were great, but none of them were bad either. I think they stick around, and it's those three holding things down at the tight end position. Whole lot more to get to in a moment. Before we do, name a player the Seahawks should cut. Here's your chance to be a little harsh judge here. Who is somebody that you do not want to see on the Seahawks roster when the season begins in 2023? This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Tell me who you think the Seahawks should move on from. Let me know in the comments section below. We go to the wide receiver position. I got 5 guys that I have the Seahawks holding on to at receiver. Obviously, DK and Tyler get a spot there, as well as Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Those are your top 3. Dee Eskridge, I know that there's been some question marks and some controversy. But I think if you are Pete Carroll and John Schneider, you're saying to ourselves, look, we spent a second-round pick on this guy a couple years ago. I know he's been dealing with some injury issues and all that, but give him one more shot and see how that ultimate works out. Young, in his limited time, looked impressive. K. Johnson will compete. I like K. Johnson, but ultimately I don't have him necessarily making it as far as that goes with one of those spots there. Let's go to the offensive line now. I have 9 guys total on the offensive line making the Seahawks roster. You go with your bookend tackles. Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas obviously make it. Some people say Abraham Lucas was more impressive than Charles Cross last year. It's going to be awesome to see what these two do for years to come holding down the tackle spots. Evan Brown, you signed from the Detroit Lions. He'll probably be your starting center when it's all said and done. Damien Lewis, Phil Haynes, obviously hold things down in their respective positions as well. Stone is going to continue to get stoned and hold things down there on the offensive line along with Jake. And then Anthony Bradford. Anthony Bradford, I really liked. The Seahawks picked him on day 3 out of LSU. And I think Anthony Bradford has a good shot to be an opening day starter at one of those guard spots for Seattle. Watch out for Anthony Bradford. I think he's going to impress a lot of people when camp comes around. Another name for you, Olu from Michigan. That's another guy I'm excited about too. Probably doesn't beat Evan Brown out to start at center, but he's your future center. Maybe he starts later on the season or next year, whatever it may be, but Olu is going to be a force to be reckoned with over the next several years. Now, here's your chance to name a player who makes the Seahawks 53-man roster. Now, don't be obvious. Don't tell me Geno Smith or DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett. That's too easy. Give me like a borderline player that you think is going to make the roster when it's all said and done. Tell me a player that is going to make it on this 53-man roster that's borderline that we're not so sure about. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Give me one name who's going to make it on that 53-man roster that's kind of on the edge right now. The defensive line. Now, we've seen some talk. There could be some changes that the Seahawks could add more talent to that defensive line, but we're doing this based on what we know right now as the roster stands as is. We'll go with Cameron Young, Myles Adams, Robert Cooper, Dre'Mont Jones, Jarran Reed, and Mike Morris. But we've heard even from Pete Carroll say that they expect there to be some changes, that they're keeping their eyes out. So if the season started today, this would be your 6, but watch out to see if there is another addition or two between now and when the season begins. The linebackers. I think there's going to be 10 total linebackers for Seattle, and I like this group. Uchenna Nwosu, I thought, was a good pickup last offseason from the Chargers. Darrell Taylor, this is a big year for him. Watch out. Derick Hall, a little bit of controversy picking him in the second round. Remember, our own Tom Downey had a third-round grade on him, late third. He ends up with Seattle there. Let's see what he can do. Boye Mafe, I'm very excited to see what he can do in 2023. I thought that he showed some flashes, had some good moments last year. He could take a big step up this season. We'll see what he can put together. Tyreke Smith, Vi Jones, also on this list. Bobby Wagner, he'll make the roster. Devin Bush. Devin Bush, it's going to be interesting to see what type of playing time he gets. Because it's all dependent, really, on when Jordyn Brooks comes back or not. Devin Bush, I don't like the idea Devin Bush is a starting linebacker, but if he's backing up Bobby and Jordyn, then that's fine. That's a very suitable role for Devin Bush there. And then Jon Rhattigan as well. Safeties, I got 5 of them. Jamal Adams, a healthy Jamal Adams, please. Quandre Diggs, Julian Love. Julian Love I'm very excited about. Now, it's going to be interesting. It's all kind of dependent on Jamal's health, right? We could see Julian Love play some nickelback at times. We could see the 3-high safety thing going. There's been rumors about Jamal Adams maybe even playing linebacker or something. Whatever it may be, this safety room is going to be awesome this year. Joey Blount, also Jerick Reed the second out of New Mexico. We've talked about Jerick Reed a little bit here on the channel. He was one of our winners out of minicamp. And this is a guy that impressed a lot of people, coaches, scouts, media, and everybody at minicamp. Let's see if he can get in the mix and get some playing time. Under the radar pick in the 6th round, watch out for Jerick Reed II. Still more names to get to, but first, who will be a breakout player for the Seahawks in 2023? I need one name. Who is going to have their launching pad season of sorts this upcoming year? Give me one name that comes to mind that you think is going to have a breakout season. Let me know in the comment section below. Corner. This corner room is going to be fantastic this year. I think it's going to be one of the best corner rooms in the entire league. Devon Witherspoon, who you picked at number 5 overall, he immediately is going to start at outside corner alongside Tariq Woolen, who's coming off tying for the lead league in interceptions last year with 6. That's going to be a dynamic duo for years to come. Coby Bryant was good as a rookie last year, but it was overshadowed by how well Tariq Woolen played. Coby Bryant, this guy had a good rookie year, but Tariq Woolen was so good that it went by the wayside. People forgot how good Coby Bryant was. Watch out for Coby Bryant to see what he can do this upcoming year. Still got Mike Jackson there, good veteran corner. Started outside corner last year. Takes a little bit of a reduced role with the emergence of Devon Witherspoon, but nonetheless, still good to have around. And then there's Tre Brown. I think people kind of forget about Tre Brown. Tre Brown is somebody that got playing time as a rookie out of Oklahoma, started a few games, suffered the injury, didn't see him a whole lot last year. Still a good player, just there's been questions about his availability. Watch out. Don't sleep on Tre Brown quite yet either. Special teams, Jason Myers, Michael Dixon, one of the best kicker-punter combos in the entire league. And then Chris Stoll will be your long snapper for Seattle this year. So there is a complete breakdown of the 53-man roster for your Seattle Seahawks as far as the 2023 outlook of this roster goes. How would you grade the roster? Now that you have an idea how things are going to look in 2023, give me a grade. You can be a tough teacher if you want to be. A, B, C, D, or F. I don't know how it could be a C, D, or F, but explain to me why, if it is one of those lower grades, why you have that grade. Give me a grade for this Seahawks roster in 2023, what you think it is. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there talking about your Seattle Seahawks. You can tell me how much you love my roster prediction. If you hate it, that's fine too. Whatever it is, tell me on social media, and I shall see you next time on this very channel, Seahawks Today by Chat Sports, and have a great day. Thanks for joining us.